Hello everybody, how are you doing? It is Tuesday night. I'm out in the shop and here's what I'm working on. Check it out. I've got the corners all glued up. I'm going to go ahead and square the blank up and then we're going to start making our opposite direction diagonal cuts. I'm not sure how else to say that. So I will keep you posted on my progress.
Check it out, guys. Cuts made, ready for glue up.
Well guys, this particular glue up went a whole lot easier than the first one. And I think the reason behind that is after I cut the blank the first time, glued it back together, and then when I trimmed all the sides, I think it made the blank more uniform because if you take a look at the two end pieces, they're almost identical in size. So I think it was closer to square than the first blank. I am really happy with how it looks. It's gluing up, it's drying right now. Let me show you a quick peek at it.
Here it is. I'm going to let it sit for 10 minutes, maybe 15 or so, and then I'll start picking some of this glue out because I don't want all that excess glue on top. I don't think it'll hurt anything. It's just unsightly, but I'll go ahead and I'll take a screwdriver, and once that gums up, we'll scrape it out and wipe it onto a paper towel. And once this thing has dried, we will glue a couple of ends on both ends, or the end piece. We will glue the end pieces on both ends, and then we'll take it maybe back to the saw. I'm thinking about doing one more series of cuts. I don't know. We'll take a look at that once it's dry.
I got all the glue cleaned off the top of my blank. I let it gum up a little bit, then I can scrape it right off. I'm fiddling with something over here. I'm thinking about doing a video on this. Let me show you guys what it is.
When I was down at the pin turning show in Augusta, I met up with Jim Hines and I purchased one of his tenon cutting jigs for bespoke pin turning. Now the way it works is I've got a couple of bushings. This is a 13 millimeter. This is a 10 millimeter. And let me grab a hold of that. Hard to do with one hand, but I'm going to show you guys how this works. You slide the bushing onto the post. You'll loosen up these two bolts and you drop the tool holder until it lays against that bushing. That will give you the proper diameter that you need to turn a 10 millimeter bushing. Tighten those two bolts up. You then take an A-bit, drill a hole down the center of your blank. The A-bit is the same size as this guide arm. You'll chuck this tenon turning tool up in your Jacob's chuck, run it right down through that hole, and it'll cut a tenon as deep as you want to cut it, up to obviously that distance in your blank. So we're going to give this a try. I've used it before. It works great. I may go ahead and do a quick video on it for you guys. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll see how that goes.
Well guys, I just shot a real quick video on Jim Hines' tenon cutting tool. This thing is a dream. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad. Jim has been developing this tool for a long time, and I'm so glad that he finally got it all worked out and is bringing it to market, because if you need to turn tenons, it's a game changer. Well, I'm going to turn my attention back. My blank has been drying for a long time. I'm not going to do any cutting or anything to it, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the two ends glued onto it so that next time I come out to the shop, it'll be good and dry, and will be ready to, I think I'm going to do one more cut, and it'll be ready for that next cut. So I'll be back in a minute to show you what it looks like.
Check it out, guys. I got the corners glued on. I went ahead and started with some tape, but I was able to use this larger clamp and just put enough pressure on there to really kind of squeeze it tight so there's no gap in there. Going to let this dry overnight. Next time I'm in the shop, we'll square this one up, and I think I'm going to come back and cut this away just to kind of mix it up a little more, because these are some pretty big sections, and I want the sections to be smaller so you get a much cooler effect when you turn the blank. So at least one more cut this away.
Well guys, after I said I was going to come back and make another set of cuts, something occurred to me. I don't think that's a good idea, and let me show you why.
If I come back and make cuts this way, then all that leaves me is the option to cut my blanks lengthwise like this, and they're going to have these straight lines in them, so it looked like I just glued sections together. I really didn't want that, so I think I'm going to just leave this as it is. I'll figure out the best way to cut blanks, and I'll try to just maybe cut like right up through these diagonals. See what I mean? And just go ahead and start cutting my blanks out. So I think we'll turn this into blanks next trip into the shop.
That's really it for me. It's about 20 till 8. It's not really late, but I don't want to be out late, because I got to work on the... That's about it for me, guys. It's about 20 minutes till 8. It's still early out. However, I'm going to call it quits. I want to get in the house, put this video together for you guys. I want time to kind of sit down and relax a little bit, before I go to bed. You kind of unwind, because I do have to work in the morning. So we're going to call it quits for now. Got a lot done in the shop, had a good time. I will be back out here, hopefully keep fingers crossed tomorrow, and maybe we'll get that thing cut into some blanks. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right, you guys have a great evening. I will talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's always a good time.